Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, before we go into the lesson, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the elderlies and the apostles out there, preaching forth this gospel and obviously making people know, a lot of our people know that we are the Hebrew Israelites that the Bible talks about. Waking up a lot of our people that are in their lost and deep sleep. A lot of our people have gone astray, and obviously let them know again we are the Hebrew Israelites, and the Bible is only for us. Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai chose one nation and one group of people, and that's the Hebrew Israelites. So many thanks to them that are pushing out this truth on social media such as Instagram, YouTube, Twitter and whatnot. And again, before we dive into the lesson, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, first and east, to Yahweh, And obviously, this lesson I want to talk about is obviously in reference to our woman, and obviously it's called non-virtuous / unrighteous woman, aka playing the harlot and whatnot.
That's right.
Obviously, the reason why I chose this lesson is because obviously we're obviously living in a society, in a world where it's obviously teaching a lot of our women to go astray and obviously, be their own people, like be strong, independent, you can do anything you please, and obviously, what they teach our women is obviously to be unrighteous, obviously stray away from the Most High, and obviously a lot of women obviously lost and confounded, / destroyed as a result of that. Obviously, we've got a few precepts as well. Can someone bring out Proverbs chapter 2 from 16 to 19.
Proverbs what?
Proverbs chapter 2, 16 to 19.
Oh, okay.
This is the book of Proverbs 2 and verse 16. And it reads, "To deliver thee from the strange woman,
That's right.
even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, which forsaketh the guide of her youth, and forgetteth the covenant of her power. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. None that go unto her return again, neither take their hold of the path of life."
There you go. That's exactly the point I was preaching earlier, moments ago. A lot of women is going astray, doing what they feel is righteous in their own heart, feeling what they do is right. And the worst thing is, a lot of our women are much more concerned about what men think rather than what the Most High can do. Because obviously the Most High has the ability and the power to destroy us as a people. And a lot of our people will be destroyed, and a lot of our women unfortunately will be destroyed. Because again, they don't fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai, they're just so interested in pleasing man. And they do whatever they feel, is joyful to them. And obviously that's, again, being harlots and obviously just going away from the word, forgetting the covenant, forgetting who they are, and not even being interested in who they are as a people. Even, for example, you may have one or two brothers that will break down, you're the Most High's chosen. This is how you should be conducting yourself. And obviously for a lot of our women, when you try and educate them and edify them, and obviously just in generally correct them, and obviously just make them lead in the path of righteousness, they just get offended, and obviously they don't want to hear it. They just want to do whatever's pleasing in their eyes. Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 22. "As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion." And that's like, see the pigs with the nose ring. I know, right? So women are rather, it's still a pig, like women would rather look pretty, rather do themselves up, look pretty and whatnot, walk around, fluttering their eyes, being whores.
Opening her quivers.
Can't open her quivers like the brother just said. Then actually have discretion, listen to the man, listen to the men that's trying to teach them knowledge, show them the way to walk, show them the way to raise their children. They'd rather just go out on these high streets, up and down all night and day, just doing pure wickedness, doing what they're not meant to do, basically, going against the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai.
I may just speak on the point he just made, Mr. Q. Yeah. He said indiscretion, which means to be discreet, man. And it'll be few and far between if you can find our women are at discreet these days, because what you need to do is listen to they tell you their whole life out here on a butt, that they be speaking their conversations on the phone for the whole world to hear, man. You hear their conversations, their private conversations, that not in private, man. You know what I'm trying to say? So they don't even know how to be discreet these days.
This is 1 Timothy 2 and 9. Says, "In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel," because like we say, like when the sun comes out, it's like this is when the sisters forget that there's a thing called clothing at times. It says, with shamefacedness and sobriety. So going back to the discreet, a lot of our sisters ain't shamefaced. They ain't got no humility at times about them. It says, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. That's not saying that the sisters can't wear this, but in this day and age, this is what the sisters them are more about, you know, the makeup, the eyelashes, them that come like umbrellas, like, you know. It says, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. And that's what our sisters need to learn, man, how to profess godliness, man, do the godly works.
Yes. Can someone bring up Proverbs 12 and 4?
Yeah. It's funny, that's what I was looking for. That's where I was all the time. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 4. A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband. So let me just add also, this has a double meaning, because a Nazarite vow, the Nazar bit of Nazarite means crown. So a Nazarite is a Hebrew Israelite that's sworn an oath to be obedient to Yahweh. So this is also saying that a virtuous woman has sworn an oath to be obedient to her husband. But she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. And I can attest to that. That's true.
And also that's for a lot of women, you know, that are out there just again doing their own will and whatnot. Little do they know that all what's pleasing in your eyes is going to have devastating effects in your future. You know, it's gonna implicate your chances of actually finding a man that you would normally desire. And but more importantly, it's going to implicate you from finding a righteous man, because obviously it's a case where all these abominable acts that you're conducting, you know, it's obviously going to have implications on yourself as well, you know. And it's a case where, you know, it's just obviously not a good look, because obviously as women, you're meant to be pure, you know. You're meant to be pure, meant to be keeping yourself holy, keeping your body like a temple for that righteous man. But obviously you know, just obviously being out there, being around the block and just giving yourself just as anyone, you know, that's gonna make you rotten, and obviously essentially it's gonna have more devastating implications on you more than anyone else.
Yeah, listen, precept, man, the brother was talking about not looking upon a sister for beauty, because really and truly, that's what we tend. Obviously, you want a sister that pleases to your eye, but it's not all about, you know, it's more about that inner beauty.
That's right.
And this is Sirach 25 and 21. To stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure, because you know she can look good on the outside, but then what's the inside like? You know,
That's a snare, man.
yeah, for real.
Precept. This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 26 verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of Yahweh.
That's right.
And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
That's right.
Right. It
So
says,
that's a precept.
but it says a mind well instructed. And what is she instructed in the scriptures, man? On how to serve a husband, how to serve the Most High. All of these things that make up a virtuous woman, man.
It's like you just said as well, like if I can say, just like you said a minute ago, that a woman's not understanding that all these things she's doing it's basically gonna mess her own life up in the future, because guess what too, because a righteous man's not gonna want you.
Can someone bring up? Yeah, go on. Proverbs 6 and 32.
Yeah, the precept you read before about we shouldn't last after when you bring that out afterwards, can you bring it out again?
We want 32 to 34. Proverbs 6.
32 to 35.
Yeah. Proverbs 6 verse 32. But whosoever committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts.
Yeah, and also that's in relation to a lot of women that also indulge in adultery, and also get guys to commit adultery as well. Because obviously, just quickly for certain brothers out there, again, like what the brother was saying earlier about, for example, you might see from the outside looking in, you know, you might look at her and think, yeah, she's stunning, she's beautiful, she's this, that, whatever, but you don't know what she possesses on the inside, you know. And for all you know, she might have like 4 to 5, 6 other guys on the side and they might be those type of guys where they can actually do devastating harm to you. Because it's a case where you might go and commit adultery with that woman, or little do you know, she also knows certain brothers, you know, that can, again, like I said, do more harm, that could do extreme harm to you. And also, it's again where you're gonna, you know, cause massive implications on yourself just for being involved with that woman. That's also very, that's obviously commits adultery. You know, a wicked woman is what I would call her. You know, and also those are the type of women that we gotta stay away from. And also, for women in general as well, you know, that's not how you should be conducting yourself. You should not be committing adultery or being involved in no affairs or whatnot. You should be righteous and obviously conducting yourself accordingly. Because the one issue that a lot of women have is that they demand respect from men, but then yet they're dressed in a way that'll give them anything. They'll give them anything but respect. In other words, disrespect. You know, and it's also just laughable because it's a case where they expect the very best out of a certain guy. But then, they want to dress inappropriately. Yeah, exactly. They want to dress, you know, like harlots basically. And also, it's a case where when you dress a certain way, you're going to attract certain things, and you can't get mad, you can't get angry or be disappointed when you don't get what you want. You know? You go.
No, I want you to be.
Sirach 25 and 21 again. Stumble not at the beating of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure.
Right, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verses 5 and 6. Verse 5. Gaze not on a maid, that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. And verse 6. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thine inheritance.
This is just related to what you're saying. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 13, verse 20. It says, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness. So, yeah, man, these women are out committing adultery, doing all this sneaking about. You know, when they're meant to be proud keepers at home, you know, they're out doing all this wickedness, but you know, you can never get a woman, or all the women that I've known, you can never get a woman to admit that they've done something wrong. It's always someone else's fault and not the woman's. They try to wiggle themselves out of everything. But guess what? The Most High is seeing everything, like the brother brings out in Ecclesiastes, and I bring out in Proverbs 15 and 3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. That's right. So you may be fooling yourself, but you don't, you know, you may be fooling these simps, these simple men out here where you can run around do all this madness. But the real men that are following Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you can't fool us, man. We know your spirit.
More importantly, you can't fool the Most High.
You can't, that's it. That's it.
Good precept. This is Sirach 26 and 15 says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. So these are the ways that the attributes that our sisters need to be aspiring to attain. You know, being shamefaced, being holy, all of these kind of things, man. And it says it's a double grace. So a brother that actually finds a sister that's actually trying to be that daughter of Zion, it's a double grace. Because one more, Sirach 26 and 23, the next verse says, a wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth the Lord.
First Ezra chapter 4 verse 26, it reads, for many there be a run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sakes.
Read that again.
Yes. This is First Ezra chapter 4 verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women.
Because some women will make a man do all kind of madness, man.
Praise the Lord, brother.
Just
Praise
to
the
get
Lord.
this 6.
And women don't have a stop button to where they say, you know, I've taken enough liberties.
Yeah.
They all keep taking it to the limit as far as you get them, man.
That's right.
So it says,
And that shows that the man himself is lacking wisdom, you know what I'm saying?
They will hypnotize certain selectors.
And that's normally because of the beauty of the woman as well that's making the man do that.
And from that, they put spells on men where men can be halfway across the world they'll swim water, jump on the boat, paddle, all of that stuff, float across
Swim
and
through
try learn
sharks.
to fly, jump 2 buildings just to get to some defiled woman.
Oh, what's the that chocolate advertisement?
Milk tray.
Milk train.
The lady works.
I'm just thinking that, you know.
It says, yea, many that be run out of their wits for women and become servants for their sake.
That's right, bro. That's right.
And that's not the order.
No, you're reading the wrong Bible. Read the Hebrew one.
So this is the book of
Read
Ecclesiastes.
the Hebrew Bible.
This is the book
If
of
you want to talk about
Ecclesiastes.
Hebrews, read the Hebrew. Yo, it's totally different.
Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as a fire.
I've got a quick precept for that. This is Proverbs.
No, hair looking like it's flowing and that find a wig on a pillow in the morning.
Proverbs 31 and 30. It says, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. That's the sister that's going to get the praise in that day, man. One that fears Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Can someone bring out Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 26?
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 26. And it says, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. What causes that, man? The beauty.
Exactly.
Yeah? And her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her. Yeah, God, the woman is given to God. But the sinner shall be taken by her.
Yeah, and obviously that's a precept to what the brother was saying earlier, just roughly paraphrasing what he said, that a wicked woman will be a wicked man. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Vice versa. And also this is the case where obviously as a righteous man, you know, you're to avoid unrighteous woman. The Most High is going to give you a woman that's righteous, obviously a woman that's, you know, on path with trying to be righteous with the Most High. You know, and like what King Solomon said, obviously that finds more death. I say he finds death more bitter than, more sweeter than a woman's bitterness. You know, because obviously as we know, a lot of women can be bitter, and obviously a lot of them are snares. Like for example, a lot of women today cause a lot of like family issues. For example, there will be a lot of them will be ripping men for child support, even to the point where they'll be demanding money that completely exceeds to what they're entitled to, you know, and that's them obviously taking advantage of Esau's system. Obviously, Esau's system is implemented to destroy a woman. Obviously, give them an advantage over us men, you know, because obviously they know that the men obviously meant to be the head, but the Esau's trying to roles reverse it. So what does he do by that? By giving women the leverage over the man. And obviously, as you see today, women obviously coming out saying, "Oh, I'm strong, independent, I don't need a man," or whatever. And obviously, that's a lot of women in the States, you know. But little do they know, they're gonna humble themselves very soon and realize that, you know what, you need a man of the Most High.
Right,
you know.
Precept, huh?
Yeah, go on. So just quickly before you bring the precept, yeah, because obviously in Isaiah 4:1 says that.
I was thinking about that.
Isaiah 4:1.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah, go and bring it up quickly.
That came straight to my mind. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. No? You ain't gonna be worried about your makeup and eyelashes and nails in them days, man.
Take away our
Yeah, reproach. But all you're gonna be worried about is finding a godly man that can teach you how to obtain salvation, man.
Exactly.
Which is
So
what's
that should be
important.
counted as part of his heart.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just to quickly add on to what the brother is saying, it's also the case where a lot of women in this modern society have like a lot of ridiculous demands. They want a guy that has more than 6 figures, they want to be rich, they want to have like a nice house, they want to have a flashy car, or, you know, all of that looks good on the outside. But the one thing they never question is, the man of the Most High. There's also a lot of women that are very carnal, they just see what's good on the outside. You know, as same way with Eve in the garden, you know, it's everything was pleasing to the eyes. That's just a lot of a woman, you know, and a lot of the women also going to be confounded and destroyed, because yeah, like I said, soon we're going to realize that, you know what, the man of the Most High is exactly what we need. And when you read throughout the scriptures, a lot of women were with men of the Most High, you know, and that's exactly what it's come down to. Hopefully not too long.
And they say as well, the brother brought out the precept about the woman's hands being bands and snares and nets. Because what goes on a lot in our nation, especially among the younger generations nowadays, is that these women are literally setting traps and snares for young Jakes to be killed, man. They call it a honey trap. Honey trap. And you see a lot of this going on. That's why Scripture says a lot of men have erred and gone out their wits for women. So I just wanted to bring this few couple verses out. It says Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3. It says, "For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb." So it sounds.
That's that sweet talk.
That's that sweet talk, man.
That's a honey trap.
It says, and her mouth
Ring
is.
the baby, ring the dog.
It says her mouth is smoother than oil. But
She's slick.
you know, yeah, come round, yeah, we can do a thing tonight. But then it says what, man? It says, then it says, but her end is bitter wormwood, man. So that was a setup all that time, man. You thought you was coming around to get some good, and really she got Tyrone and them waiting for you there. It says, but her end is bitter wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Lest thou ponderest the path of life, her ways are movable. And that's another thing where you can't really put your trust in a woman because her mind is constantly changing, depending on her emotions, on how she's feeling.
Depending on who she's associating herself
So
with.
it can't. It says her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them.
And I want Israel to take note. You cannot know them.
That's right.
You literally can't. So don't waste your time. Know the Lord.
That's right.
This is Proverbs 31 and 3. Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Like the brother was just saying, these women will set traps for you.
I've got precept too, but this is more advice than anything else. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 9. And this is for Yashala. For everybody really, but I'm dealing with Yashala. Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so through thy desire thy fall into destruction. So, take notes as well.
Just to add to that, this is Proverbs 7, and I'll start at 10. It says, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire, did you read that? With the attire of an harlot and supped of harps. And like the Bible says, I read it earlier, women adorn themselves in bodice apparel.
That's right.
You can't see a brother walking down the street in a fireman's outfit, your house is burning, run into him and say, yo, come help me, my house is burning. And say, I'm not a fireman, but you dress like a fireman, you know what I'm saying? In like manner, it says, the woman with the attire of a harlot. In verse 12 it says, now she is without, now in the streets and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vow. So everything's already planned because she's got the this is why the most I had an issue with our people in the first place. We'll be looking to do wickedness and have the sacrifice already prepared. Yeah? That's why he don't want our sacrifices now. It says, therefore I came forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings of tapestry, with carved work, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love's it is. For the good man is not at home, is gone on a long journey, so she know that her man's gone away. And now, going back to what the brother was speaking about earlier on, man.
Imagine that guy's getting better treatment than the husband.
That's right.
I've got one final one. Proverbs chapter 23, 27 to 28.
Proverbs 23,
Verse 27 to 28.
start verse 27. Proverbs 3 and 27 says, for a whore is a deep ditch,
That's right.
and a strange woman is a narrow pit.
That's right.
She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and that goes into what I was just reading, man. And increaseth the transgressions among men, who has woe, who has sorrows, who has contentions, who has babbling, who has wounds without cause, who has redness of eyes.
And again, that right there is a powerful one, because obviously this is something that I've come to find out a long time ago, and also this is unfortunately a lot of our women, because you know it says for a whore is a deep ditch and the strange woman is a narrow pit, etc. And also she lie in wait for a prey and increases the transgressions among men, you know, and also that's a lot of the women where a lot of them are obviously very wicked and they pull a lot of men from the Most High, you know. And obviously that's the case where, and obviously a lot of guys are falling to be a victim of that, you know, because again, it all goes back to being deceived by a woman's beauty, where a guy will look at the outside and think, yeah, she looks good, she looks fantastic, and before you know it, you're outside the truth, you know. And obviously that's the wickedness that a lot of women inject into a lot of us men, you know. But obviously it's about being strong, obviously standing your ground, obviously knowing who you are as a man, and just don't be trapped by a whorish woman. You know, they'll just lead you down the path of death. You know, whether it's physical, whether it's spiritual. You know, it's also just going to be it's also going to be it's also just going to be very implicational for you as well as a man. So obviously the message out there for certain brothers: avoid women like that, and obviously for women. This is all just a lesson of getting you righteous. It's obviously not a hate speech. It's not me being misogynistic. Obviously, it's a case where it's also unpopular for men to correct women. You know, and that's obviously the world we live in. So it's a case where I preach this lesson because it's the case where as Hebrew Israelite men, we care. We want the best for you. Because you know you are a woman. But if we didn't care, we wouldn't be doing this. So as they say, sometimes to be kind, you got to be cruel. And obviously, it's a case where. Again, I'm doing this lesson because obviously for a lot of women out there, I want you to be edified, and also lead you in the path of righteousness, you know. Because obviously, if you don't seek the Most High, you're going to be destroyed. And also, you got to, like what the brother said, you got to dress modestly, you know. You can't be wearing no tight jeans, you can't be wearing no shorts, no belly tops, you know, and showing cleavage and whatnot. Things like that's obviously those are people of this world, you know. As people of the Most High, we can't conduct ourselves like that.
What it says, well, like, also the brothers, we need to get ourselves in order so that we can guide these sisters as well. But this is Titus 23 says the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becoming holiness. Yeah, so it's actually telling the sisters them how they should be. You know, not false accusers, not given to too much wine, teachers of good things. Says, and once the sisters then get themselves in order, it says that they may teach the young women to be sober. When you read Psalm 78, 5 down to 8, it says that we're meant to pass this down to the children, that their children might teach the children to come. It says that they may teach a young woman to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed.
Well, this is Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. So the Most High knows that it's going to be hard in this kingdom to come by these women. But they are out there. The same way righteous men trying to do righteous are looking for a virtuous woman, it's vice versa.
Yeah, they're looking for a righteous.
There's always someone for someone, but you know, we're hard to find, man, amongst all these heathens and all these people are not following the Most High. I'm going to drop down to verse 26. It says, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. So, you know, she's always the busybodies at home, you know, make sure the house is intact and all that, not trying to first, I'm just going to fling something in the oven because I've got to get ready to go out tonight, you know, one of those ones, which is like most of our women. You get beans on toast from these women nowadays, if that.
You might get the cheese to throw it in.
Her children arise up and call her blessed.
That's right.
Her husband also.
That's right.
And he praiseth her. Come on, man. That's the sort of women we're looking for. You know, the kids wake up like, Mummy, we love you, man. Look at what you did for us.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, Mummy, where have you been all night?
But now I ain't got time for you now, children.
Yeah. Go and make your own breakfast. You know.
Reset. Did you have one?
I did, but you...
No, go ahead.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26 and verse 26, and it reads, a woman that honoureth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoureth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto him.
It says a help, like, yeah, not meant to be an hindrance, man. Meant to be a help. You read on.
And a pillar of rest.
Not a pillar of stress.
Headache.
I got precept.
They're nagging, man.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse, to start at 1, it says, Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled.
That's
Right.
A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband, and he shall fulfill and he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
And the thing is, like, we know that there's sisters out there that's actually striving to be like this. So this ain't against those sisters. These are against the rebellious ones that still wanna, like, wear, like the brother saying, the belly top with the fringes and you know, and all of them things.
But it's like we say, you know, as well. It's like the brother said, you know, we're not doing this to bash you, but this is thus saith the Lord.
love.
This is actually love, you know. And like we always say too, man. Listen, if the shoe fits, put it on, man.
Because just to add on to that point as well, it's a case where I just say it's as simple as this. This is also not for all women, because obviously not all women are unrighteous, you know. It's also for the ones that conducted such iniquity and unrighteousness. And it's a case where I just say that if you're a woman watching this and you know this don't apply to you, you shouldn't get offended.
That's right.
You know, that's what I just say to people. Because for a lot of women, it's a case where when you're referring to a certain group of women, all women become offended. And I just say to them, it's as simple as this. You just know if it don't apply to you, you know, you shouldn't be offended. So, for example, if a lot of women were preaching a lot of things about certain guys, and you're a man watching that,
And you're like that.
yeah, exactly. If you know you're like that, you're gonna get offended. But if you know you're righteous, you know that this don't apply to you, you can just sit back and just laugh at whatever's being presented to your face. You know, it's as simple as that.
They acknowledge that there are men like that, just like a righteous sister would acknowledge, well, you know what, there are sisters like that.
And you only are going to be offended by it if it applies to you.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah.
If it does apply to you, then and you want to correct it, then you know seek knowledge from the scriptures, man, and know how you're meant to be, or ask your man, you know how you're meant to carry yourself, man. But it's a case of being discreet and being ready to listen, rather than to always be talking, man. You know, a quiet woman is a
Silent and loving
woman. It's a blessing for a man to have a silent and loving woman. It's not always yappity yap yap.
I had something in regards to fruitful possession. What did you say? A good woman is a fruitful possession.
We don't get it from wife because
I'll read it again, yeah?
Yeah, please.
Ecclesiastes chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Right, beautiful. So I want to precept that with Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 20. Now this has a double meaning. When thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed. So what this is saying twofold. If you've got a piece of land, trust in your own seeds to get your crop. But also, what it's also saying is when you have a wife, when you have a good wife, a good possession, it should be of your own nation. This is what he's saying. Trusting in the goodness of thy stock, meaning you don't throw your pearls to swine.
To the viewers out there watching this, I hope this has edified you. And obviously, this is also for a lesson for the sisters. And also, the case where if you know this applies to you, again, it's not me bashing you or being me strictly out of love, not me being hateful towards you. Just obviously, it's a case where you want you to be righteous. Obviously, just conduct yourself how our foremothers conduct themselves. Obviously, that was being righteous. Could also lead you on a path. Or at least it will help you. It will help promote your chances of reaching salvation. That's the end goal out here. You know. So again, obviously this applies to you. We just want you to turn from your wicked ways, dress modestly. Not how the world wants you to dress or how the world perceives as acceptable. Because obviously what the world perceives as acceptable is also an abomination to the Most High Hashem Yahshai. So again, it's obviously a lesson for the sisters. Hopefully you're edified and also hopefully just this will encourage you to be more righteous and also seek the truth and seek the scriptures more diligently and more frequently as well. So with that, we're going to close out, but obviously give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Waha, Rakah, Kadash,
And you men out there, man, gird up your loins, man.
right.
Anyone trample all over you.
That's right.
And get yourselves in order.
That's right.
Go your beds.